Iran the way to win in Iraq? Is the next U.S. president likely to face a more horrific scenario than 9/11 if Iran is not dealt with immediately? Those are some of the provocative questions raised by Mike Evans in his new book, The Final Move Beyond Iraq, The Final Solution While the World Sleeps. That book will debut #1 on the New York Times paperback bestseller list next week. Mike Evans joins us now in studio. Mr. Evans, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Delighted to be with you.
Well, thank you very much. So, dealing with Iran, you say, is the key to the future of Iraq.
85% of the suicide bombings, the attacks are coming from Iran. That's what the Iraqi government leaders are telling me.
What does that mean? That the suicide bombers are Iranian?
400-mile open border.
Right.
We've got billions of dollars pushing into the country every month. President Barzani, most of the Kurdish leaders have told me this. They said the cash, the IEDs, the intel, the proxies. There's a consulate in every city. There's an embassy in Baghdad. This is an Islamic revolution, non-Arab, by the way, non-Arab Islamic revolution pushing through an Arab country.
Huh. And it is being financed by Iran.
Yes, and by the way, if we pull out, guess who dies? The millions of Arabs will be killed that were our allies helping us. All the Christians will be killed, and the Kurds will be killed who are gassed. That's what we get. Thank you very much. The Arabs will hate us in the entire world.
Huh. So, what exactly is the solution?
Well, the solution, #1, is to hit the bad guys with a baseball bat and knock them right on the rear end. What should we do first? Bankrupt them. It works. It works.
And the bad guys are who specifically?
Iran.
Okay.
Iran needs to be bankrupt. How can you do it? 35% of their fuel imported. Gasoline, oil. Shut it down. Stop the IPOs. Bankrupt the country and do it quick. We can suck the oxygen out of Iran quick.
But wait, we've had an embargo against. We've had no relations with Iran since 1979, as far as I understand.
It's completely the theater. Listen, look what they did last week. A couple days ago, they showed up and they had tea in Baghdad. That's like going to Auschwitz and discussing fascism with Hitler during World War II. It's completely theater. Iran won in Baghdad. It's a game. Listen, this isn't about democracy or stability. That's stupidity. This is either the Central Front on the war on terror to fight the bad guys or get the heck out.
Iran is.
Iraq is. It's either the Central Front on the war on terror and stop the rhetoric about democracy and stability in Iraq because it's nutty. How can you invite all the terrorists to come into a country to fight you and then promise everybody democracy and stability? That's stupidity.
It seems to me that the United States has tacitly backed the Shiites in Iraq because they're the majority, and the idea is in a democracy the majority has to have the final say in anything. So we have basically, it looks to me like we have thrown our weight behind the Shiites, who are natural allies of Iran because they share the same religion. You don't really believe that. I do believe that.
No, you don't. Hitler was elected by a majority in democracy. Hezbollah, Hamas.
I suppose my question is, do you think we made a mistake in backing a democratic system in Iraq, because almost by definition that would empower the Shiites in the country?
Yes, because there's no rule of law. Who's the most powerful boy on the block? Mahmoud al-Sadr, not Maliki, the Mahdi army. And by the way, what does Mahdi mean? This is the 12th Imam. They believe they're going to bring in an apocalypse, a perfect human being, through a mushroom cloud. It's completely nutty. We've got to either fight terrorism in Iraq. And by the way, we should apologize to the American people for what? For promising democracy and stability. That's the real problem. If we're going to fight the Central Front of the war on terror, then fight it as a war on terror and help the Iraqis that are suffering right now. We need to help those poor refugees. They're suffering terribly. But there's a war to fight. We can't pull out of Iraq.
Huh. Should we bomb Iran?
Listen, if we won't get serious about embargoes and dealing with them economically, we've got to hit, according to the top Israeli general, former chief of staff, Moshe Yaalon, he said we've got to hit their hard spots. He said there's 1,100 hard spots. If we don't hit them, the Arab world is screwed. He said if they go nuclear, he said they're going to push right through Iraq, all the way to Lebanon with an Islamic Khomeini-type revolution. Then they're going to go after the Arabs. They consider the Arabs infidels. They consider Jews infidels. They consider Christian infidels. Now have a nuclear umbrella to protect them. What will we get in America? Asymmetrical terrorism. Like Israel, 20,000 attempted suicide attacks in Israel. You think they won't come here? You're darn right they will if they have a nuclear umbrella. But they'll start with a $625 package.
All right. Mike Evans, the final move beyond Iraq. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Delighted.
Thanks. Favorite goes